Hello, Bob here. Welcome you all to the Tuesday Night Live show. I would like to thank you all for joining us tonight. This week's show is going to be a great one. We have a couple who have fresh eyes in the industry and is very eager in sharing their experiences with us all. Remember, the more we share, the better we all become. Let's see here. Grab some refreshments, fire up the big screen, dial in YouTube, and grab a pen and paper because you're going to want to take some notes tonight. That's right, it's going to be that kind of night. The opening of tonight's show is brought to you by Sat Bob's Professional Technical Training School. The legend lives on. This is Tuesday Night Live. Okay, let's get started here by bringing in my sidekick. And with Easter just around the corner, no doubt he will be hopping into a city or town near you with his top hat, his cane, his ears a flopping. That's right, the one we all know as last week's show as Spangle the Talking Easter Bunny.
Hey guys, how you doing? Hey, we're gonna have a great show this week. It's so good to see you, Bob. I appreciate you stepping up the game and getting those candy canes in the green room while I'm back there. You know, I always like a good candy cane. Hey, talking Easter Bunny, you just can't shut Spangle up. You know how hey, put a couple of years on me, I still talk. That's right. All right,
Yeah,
we're gonna have some fun tonight.
we found that out. And on those candy canes, man, I'm sorry if they're a little stale, but I got those from one of the big box store warehouses on a closeout, and they were dated 2009. So hopefully they're still good. They're still wrapped. So,
You mean that wasn't 19? That it is 9. Oh no.
oh,
Hey, I got my pen and paper. I'm ready for some notes too.
that's all right. Nothing wrong with that. All right, before we move on, everyone say hi to our producer, my favorite daughter, Angela Mack. Hi, my favorite daughter. That's right. One and only. Here's a thought. You want to be too cool for school? Check out Fancy Lee's exclusive TNL swag over at fancylees.com. All right, our YouTube channel is the Tuesday Night Live Show 1225. You don't want to miss a single show. You just don't. So subscribe, like, comment, and share. We appreciate it very much. The first half of the Tuesday Night Live Show Trivia is brought to you by School of Santa's 2024 in Branson, Missouri, where fun and education meet.
Noah Lott reporting for TNL Chatterbox News. This year's School of Santas will be held July 18th through the 21st in beautiful, picturesque Branson, Missouri, right in the heart of the Ozark Mountains. If you've been before, then you know all about the 4 days of festivities that School of Santas is best known for. Each year the host facility, Americ Inn by Wyndham, Branson and Conference Center is home to over 100 clauses for the weekend and is centrally located in the middle of everything Branson. If you have never attended SOS, well, bless your heart, you are missing out on one of the Claus community's premier educational opportunities. For more information on price and to ensure your place at the next School of Santas, contact Tanya Lay at Branson Ticket and Travel today at 800-432-4202. Again, that's 800-432-4202 and get registered today. I'm Noah Lott reporting. Now back over to you guys in the TNL studio.
Hey, and I got some exciting news here today. I talked to Tanya this morning, and it is confirmed. Yes, I know you all have been waiting for it, but it has been confirmed. Friday night, we'll be seeing Six. Those guys are phenomenal. There are no guitars, there are no drums, there are no pianos, but you'll swear you're hearing them. They make all the sounds with their mouths. So Six Brothers, we have that on Friday, and Saturday is Reza, R-E-Z-A. I suggest that you look up both of these people on YouTube and see what they got. Yeah.
Sounds like a fun time as always. I'm excited about that news. That's great.
Yeah, it was nice to know that we got let it locked down. And guys, if you come to the School of Santas, we're all going to the theater. We do our tribute to Daisy parades, or our redneck parades, or our trouble parades, whatever we want to do. We get a little, but we don't get in trouble for it. The shows, you're not paying any extra for the shows. That's complimentary of the School of Santas. So yes, come on. Hey,
Right there,
anyways, trivia in the month of March, two very different events are noted in history. In blank, we saw the outbreak known as blank blank on March 19th of that same year. U.S. Congress established blank blank and approves blank blank blank. In the month of March, two different events are noted in history. In blank, we saw the outbreak known as blank on March 19th of that same year. The U.S. Congress established blank blank and approves blank blank blank. Check
right.
it out.
And a couple of quick clues. Of course, the first one we want the year, and on the last few blanks, we just experienced that last weekend. So, yeah. All right, guys, work on that. Get your fingers working. See who can come up with it. Well, I'll tell you what, I no more got the words out of my mouth on yesterday's show, and AJ had the answer. That guy just blows me away. I know he's already working. I know his fingers are going 90 to nothing right
So
now. So.
let me tell you, I got a message from AJ's mom this morning. AJ won the Santa notebook date book thing. Well, I got a hold of his mom and I said I was sending you the Mrs. Claus and the Santa one. Intercept the mail, because I had told AJ the night he won, okay, great, we got the Mrs. Claus book already in the mail. It's already sent. And he kept sending me messages. No, I wanted the Spangle. I wanted the Santa one. I wanted the Santa one. And I said, well, we already got the Mrs. Claus that going. Oh, okay. I guess my mom will like it. And then I guess she got to show AJ that she had the Mrs. Claus one. And she said, I only wish I would have filmed AJ's reaction when he got the Santa one later. He said, okay, Tom, you got me.
That was nice of you to send one to each one of them. And that's the kind of guy you are. And that's why we love you so much, brother.
Yeah, the
All
kind
right,
of guy, prankster.
Yep, the prankster.
Yeah, he said, I'm here, Bob. That clown pulled a prank on me.
Hey, anyways,
Right,
was it October we had this special guest on there? Was that when it was last October?
it was October 10th. That's correct.
If you all go back on our YouTube channel or our Facebook page and look at October 10th, we lost Santa Kenny Blair. We had him as a guest on the show. He's a great guy. He's just wonderful. Got the heart, got some phenomenal suits. But hey, we just want to ask everybody just for a second, take your heads and bow it. And, we've lost too many brothers and sisters in this community. We're all getting older and we lost him. So let's give him that moment. Thank you. Thanks.
65, and we mentioned on yesterday's show how youthful he seemed. He works with youth groups, a youth trainer, a youth coach, just had so much life in him and so vibrant. But tell you what, man, heart attack, sometimes they hit you and that's it. And
any moment. Hey, we got some good news over there in the comments. AJ said it's a hard question. Hey, anyways, tonight's featured guests, even though they are just a few years into their portrayal of the Clauses, they have been married going on 35 years as a real married Claus couple. They believe that makes their dynamic different than some Clauses. Both are outgoing. He's a designer by trade. She has a medical background, and both have so much to share with us. Please welcome Santa Doug and Jenny Kringle, my friends on Facebook, also known as Doug and Jenny Kringle.
You noticed he put that friend on Facebook in there, didn't he?
Yeah. We're excited to be here. We really are. Thank you guys for having us too. We're very humbled.
Thank you for reaching out. I was excited when you first wrote me, and I really got excited when I realized that you already had all your stuff ready. I mean, you guys were right there. Hey, I didn't have to ask for anything. You submitted it all, and kudos to the promotions that you've done. We mentioned it yesterday. We want to mention it again. Guys, if you're coming on the show, feel free to do your own promotions. We don't always have the time to get out and promote it the way we probably should, but I'll tell you what, these two right here knocked it out of the ballpark this week with 3 or 4 different promotions over the last 2 weeks, actually. So great job, guys. Fantastic. All right. Well, we are glad to have both of you joining us. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. We've got a lot to get to tonight. We all got started for many reasons, but y'all's story of how you were called into the red suit and dress is kind of unique. It was a calling. You, Doug, being of strong Christian faith, putting on the suit for an ugly Christmas party was your beginning. Can you share that story with us?
Absolutely. My wife's part of a bunco group, and we all get together. The husbands get together, and they decided to have an ugly sweater party. And they all get together, and I didn't have an ugly sweater. So the wife is like, you know what? We've got this old Santa suit, one of those box store off the rack kind of suits. And why don't you put that on? And anybody who knows me, I'm kind of the guy who's literally either all in or I'm not.
He's a little extra.
I'm very extra. So, and I've always liked to dress up. So, I had to bling out the suit, and we went to the party, and we just had a blast. And everybody kept asking me, "Hey, do you do Santa?" And so I started doing it for one of our ladies in the bunco group, and then I actually went to a hospital. And I was kind of struggling with it as a Christian because I really didn't want to take away from the real meaning of Christmas being Christ. And I got on ClawsNet, and I met a bunch of Christians, in fact, quite a few pastors. And I really was able to reconcile, you know what, I can do this. And not only that, I decided we're going to offer some faith-based options if I'm going to do it. So I found North Pole Radio. And with Matt Spalding, I found a professional Santa Claus podcast with Jonathan Burton and started listening. And then I realized there's this whole professional Santa community. And my son had talked me into growing this out. And I approached the wife with it. And that's probably where the next part of the story comes. So I really wanted to do this. I felt called into it like many people do. But yeah, she wasn't too happy at first when I approached her and said, I really feel called to be a professional Santa.
Very cool. I don't know how you not have an ugly sweater in your closet, because even if it's Christmas or not, how many times have we come out of the bedroom wearing something and your wife say, "You gonna wear that old ugly sweater you got?" Get back in there and change.
Yeah. Most of them, they don't fit.
Got holes on where the moth is eating holes on.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Jen,
That's
you
right.
told Doug you didn't marry Santa when he started his portrayal. In fact, you wasn't a huge fan of his choice until after attended a baseball game with him, and he performed okay. Jen, you told Doug and didn't marry Santa when he started his portrayal. In fact, you wasn't a huge fan of his choice until you attended a baseball game with him and performed as Mrs. Claus the first time. Tell us how that day and everything changed for you.
Absolutely. You hit it right on the head once you finally got the words out. No, I mean, we went to that party, and he was a very handsome Santa, if I must say myself, But yeah, he started researching all this stuff, and he had come to me. He's like, "Jen," he's like, "I really think that, that this is something that I need to do." And I gave him the side eye a whole bunch. And I remember one day we were in the kitchen. I'm like, "Listen, buddy, I did not marry Santa because he started ordering stuff. He had ordered like these red pants and all this, and I'm like, this is not what I signed up for, this whole beard thing. I'm like, 'cause he was clean shaven, he had a goatee, but he kept it nice and short. So anyway, yes. So fast forward, he had gotten an offer to throw out the first pitch and sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" at our local minor league baseball team. And he had got me, like he said, he's extra. He's very extra, right? So he had already ordered me a Mrs. Claus jersey. And he's like, well, if you want to go with me, I'll have this for you. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. So I had worked all day that day, but we went to the ball field, and he was all decked out, and he had brought a lot of his props with him that we also offer. And just, I was there. I had a little roof that I had made myself. But I wasn't really like, oh, I just don't know about all this, until I saw children. And there were a lot of special needs children there that night. And to watch how they interacted with him, that was it. It just melted my heart just to be able to love and show just genuine type of feelings that we have for children. And one of the moms had said, the only reason why we're here is because of you guys, because they had promoted it. He is a designer by trade, but he also has a marketing degree in his background. So he had been trying to promote it, a little bit. And so it was Christmas in July. So absolutely. The next day I approached him. I'm like, okay, we need to have board meetings. We need to do this, this, and this, because I'm a nurse. I'm in leadership. So I'm very like type A. And I'll never forget, he looked at me, he's like, really, good. He goes, I've been trying to do this, and now all of a sudden you're wanting to, take over, I guess. But that was it. That was what got me, was the just seeing how we can minister to people, because Christmas isn't always a happy time for people around the holiday, and we've been able to experience some of that as well too with people. So just to be able to love and minister to them, that was huge.
And if I can interject too, there was this wonderful family there, and this young girl, her name was Winter, and she was just enamored with us. And she ended up actually sending both of us separate letters. Her mom got our address, and actually she wrote us letters and sent us her school picture. That put her over the top, over the edge. But then to even top it off, I had found out that Winter's mother actually wrote a book, because Winter's mother, the grandpa of Winter, had passed away, and he had written a book about him being Santa Claus's elf. So it was just kind of all these things that came together at that game and kind of put her over the edge. And we've been doing it now,
This was my first year.
This was her first year.
Yeah, this last year was my first year doing it.
But we
that hook is set now, isn't it?
Well, she mentioned type A, that means all in. So
yeah, she's all in.
All
Good,
in, exactly. And it happens that way a lot. A lot of times the guy is the one that, jumps in first, and the wife don't want nothing to do with it. And they go to an event or two and see how much fun we're having. It's a different story after that. They say, hey, maybe I do want to do this. Opens up their eyes. All right, so from that experience, y'all decided that you had to find your character portrayals as well as refining your wardrobe look and style. Tell us about that process and how you both have authenticated your portrayal and look.
Well, I'll go first,
Sure.
because he had already started working on his look, if you will, right? So for me, by the time I was like, okay, I want to do this, I had no clue where to even look. So I got on Facebook, and I started looking up Mrs. Clauses, and there was one Mrs. Claus in particular. Her name was Rachel King, and I had sent her a private message, and I just had commented, I'm like, I really love your dress, and from there it started a conversation, and we wound up talking on the phone, and she had told me that, you need to figure out what look you're going for. And so I had sent her a couple of pictures of myself, you know, different little things that I was trying to mess with. And she's like, you look more like a Charles Dickens, you know, like Renaissance type. So that's how I kind of came into it. And I've turned extra as well, you know, because I'm all about, you know, being extra now as Mrs. Claus.
Just trying to bring back the brooch.
Yeah, I wear brooches. Even when I'm not Mrs. Claus, I wear brooches now all the time when we go out. And I'm fortunate enough to have our daughter who's 27, and she'll come over. She helps do my hair for me. So, and which is really nice. So that's the kind of look that I'm going for.
Yeah.
And on the sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Mrs. Claus, I think Santa's image is, you know, they changed it a little bit, but Santa is Santa. Mrs. Claus, they got this opportunity to really get outside the box, and, you know, so, you know, have fun with it.
Yeah. And she's definitely the CEO. I mean, she runs the North Pole and this North Pole. This Santa here, I wanted to be a Santa that would be as authentic as I could, but also have a little bit of character to him, a little bit of that candy cane. But I wanted to be the Santa that I wanted to make sure that I didn't want to be a Santa that would blow it for a child because he's wearing a Timex watch. So, you know, everything that I wear, whether it's a watch, we change our wedding rings. So we have Christmas wedding rings on. I see, Spangle, we have very similar glasses, but I actually have to wear glasses. So mine aren't readers. These are actually, you know, it took me a while to find prescription glasses that are going to have that look, you know, with bifocals that I could actually read something. So I noticed that with, I see Derek Dugan is on. He's very much the same way, you know, so when I'm looking at other Santa Clauses, I'm kind of looking at how they approach things and trying to fit that into my look and her look, you know. So we kind of do that with everything, whether it's a prop, whether it's our business model. We're always and we'll give credit where credit is due, you know, because we're all learning from each other.
Yeah, that's one cool thing in the Santa community. There's so much knowledge just shared freely out there. We are blessed to have that.
Yeah, and I definitely, if I can add really quick, I just want to thank the Christmas community for accepting us and teaching us to be better Santa and Mrs. Claus. And we're going to try to continue to learn and improve and represent our community the best of our ability. So I just wanted to thank our community for accepting us. And Jeff McMullen has been almost kind of a mentor to me. So thank you to him as well.
And he will be at the school this year.
Good choice.
Yeah. Yes, anyways, tell us how you guys have gone about setting up your business model and mission statement, and how you market yourself to potential clients, and how you prep those clients for your events.
Okay, absolutely. Can I take some of this?
Well,
okay. Well, all right. First of all, gotta ask the CEO. Our mission statement is actually a quote from Walt Disney. So our mission statement is, whatever you do it well. Do it so well that when people see you do it, they will want to come back and see you do it again. And they want to bring others and show them how well you do what you do. So that's kind of the basis. We just want to get to be the best Santa Miss Clauses that we can, and that we encourage others. They're so excited about seeing us that they want others to see us as well. But, you know, a mission statement is the why behind your brand. It states, you know, the principles of your object, of your company. But then we also have a motto. It's our tagline. And our tagline is bringing magical Christmas memories for everyone. The one thing I learned from Jeff is he talks about, when he does a lot of his teaching, about, you know, photos capture the moment, but really what we're doing as performers is creating memories. And so that's our focus, is we want to make sure that we're bringing the magic of Christmas to people and creating memories, not just for the children, but for the adults as well, or anybody that's there. So
yeah, the memories are what it's about.
Yeah. As far as our business goes, some of the things that we have done, you know, everybody's got your nice certificates and things of that nature. But like prime example, you know, learning from like say Steve Gillum and Deborah, you know, they're what they call a smart Santa, and I'm always afraid technology is never going to work for me because I'm the one guy that you bring in technology and it's broken,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah. So my thought process was I like how she feeds him information, but we're not going to do that. So we actually developed what our child questionnaires, and this is really important for us when we're doing our home visits and smaller visits. Is we actually after we sign them on a contract, whether it's with Gig Salad or whatever, we have them fill out these questionnaires on each and every child, and that way I can also type out their nice certificates. But actually, this is how we incorporate Mrs. Claus into our presentation. Mrs. Claus has this wonderful book that she pulls out during chair time with Santa. And we actually have a report from the Naughty and Nice department from Neville, because we also use the Santa phone calls, if you've ever heard those. I have where I call the North Pole. And of course, you got to use the same guys who are on the phone call. So Neville works in our Naughty and Nice department, and Bernard is our head elf because that's who's on the phone call. But
And so how we incorporate this questionnaire is when we talk to the individuals that have hired us for the gig, if you will. We'll go through each child, and then I think I had heard this on a podcast from Jenny Lynn Claus. To think of something special just for that child, you know, what sets them apart. So when we are doing our home visits, you know, we make a big deal out of it, and it's like, oh, Santa, you know, it's time. We need to go through everybody's naughty and nice. So that's what we do. And when I bring out my book and I open it up, I will have a copy of that naughty or nice, and I'll say, oh, Santa, look at Johnny. I can't even believe how much he's grown. Santa, can you believe how much he's grown? And then we just kind of go through, did you know, Santa, that Johnny was playing second base this year in baseball, but he broke his arm? Johnny, how was your arm feeling? So we just use the way we really personalize it for the child. And then at the end of that, you know, care time, then we give them that certificate, the nice certificate, and then, you know, a photo op for them. So
I'll give you one little story of how we make it personal. So for instance, this one family where we were going out to, I had found out what we do is usually a week before we actually do the event, we do a phone call with them, and we have another sheet that we fill out. We just kind of go over the event with them. Making sure, hey, do you want faith-based visit? What do you want? Do you want us to bring some of our props with? How do you want the event to go? We want to make sure that they're going to be happy through it. But the one event that we were doing is a home Christmas party, and I had found out that the grandparents had actually taken one of the child to the Walnut Room in Chicago the week before to meet Santa. So I'm like, okay, here we're going to have, and you guys have probably run into this. Now you've got several people introducing them to several different Santas. Well, I took the approach, well, you know what? While Santa's in the suit, this is the real Santa. So when I got her, I had asked her mom before the party, I had asked her, do you know when you went up to the Walnut Room, what she asked Santa for? And she told me. And so when we had gotten to the home party and I had brought her up, I had said, I heard you had met one of my helpers up at the Walnut Room, and you had asked her, what she asked for was a real live elf. And I'm like, you know, I can't give you a real live elf. He's got to help me up at the North Pole. And her mouth just dropped. So, you know, we're just trying to find ways that we can still use that smart Santa, but in our ways, maybe not so smart. So that's a lot what we're doing with our business. We're keeping our rates up there. We do insurance and background. I didn't realize how important it was, but we've done a lot of events over the last year. And when you do stuff for communities and and things like that, they do want that background check and that insurance and stuff. So I'm glad we did that.
Yeah,
Very
that
nice.
authenticates you for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, so you mentioned your child questionnaire that you spoke of just a moment ago. What about your development forms and your independent contracts? Did you mention those?
Yes, we actually do those. So we do use Gig Salad as well. And oftentimes with our contracts, we'll have our contracts set and we'll use them even on Gig Salad. I'm not necessarily going to hold somebody fully liable. I mean, if they really want their money back, that's not, we're not in it. We're not 100% in it for the money. That, you know, we're doing it because you guys know you don't make a fortune off of this. We're just trying to recoup some of this stuff. We spend more than we actually get. So
Yes.
Angle
Well,
likes it.
How many calls do you get for your extras, such as Santa chair, displays, props, things like that?
Well, we've used them quite a bit. I actually developed the chairs. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe if I got out of the way, you could see them. They're kind of smaller. That way we could actually get them into vehicles.
Oh, what you just did.
Oh, that's all right. We can get them into a vehicle. And like this North Pole sign, I actually built that North Pole sign that's up back here. We've got an animatronic reindeer that we use. We've got backdrops. So, I mean, it's a way for us to make additional income, but it's also a way that if we're bidding against other people, that we can throw things in that, you know, hey, oh, great, we don't have Santa chairs, you know, and I'll just throw them in as well. So we have used them quite a bit, even the backdrops.
Yeah, those are that little touch that some people may not expect, some people may know about. Either way, you've got it covered. So great.
Yep.
All right. So you mentioned your faith earlier. Before we go to break, can you kind of cover your faith-based options that you have?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So a couple of things that we do when we're doing faith-based, want to keep it really a non-denominational, but the focus is on Jesus. So if there's older kids, of course, you can get things like, you know, the scroll with the story. But I tell you, reading the story of the birth of Christ to a bunch of little children is usually not going to be the best option. We've got a few different things that we do. I had custom gospel tracks that are made both for adults and children. So, you know, for instance, for first-time customers, I guess you could say we do the Steve Gillum's White Feather story. And while I'm doing the story, we actually have red envelopes that have the story and a white feather, and that Mrs. Claus kind of sneaks them in. So I'll staple the gospel track to the back of that. And also usually with the kids packet, we'll put one in there. But the biggest thing that I like to do is we like to be storytellers. So one of the stories that I told this year that would lead into the gospel is actually the origin of the Christmas tree. And I actually have that story. If you look at our website, my website is hiresantadoug.com, and you go under origins, you'll actually see the story. And a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the Christmas elements that we have actually have a faith-based background, and really the Christmas tree is one of them. So what I do is whatever house that is hosting us, I order this wonderful red apple off of Amazon, and it is made by Old World Christmas, and it's got a little tag on there that actually explains the Christian background of the Christmas tree. And a lot of people don't realize that the Christmas tree was actually from in medieval times, 12th century. They used to do what they call mystery plays. And that was the way that the church would get stories out, because the common person couldn't read or write. So they would do plays. And one of the plays that came around about 3 weeks leading up to December 24th was what they called the Paradise Play. And it was actually the reenactment of God's creation and the fall of mankind. And at the center of the play, they would put a tree, and they would cover the tree in red apples to signify man's sin. And so this is just a great way when you're telling the story. You can talk about that and lead into what Christ has done for us. And it works really great explaining it with kids because you don't lose their attention. So this year, what we're going to do is I'm doing another story. This year's story is actually, if you ever heard of bummer sheep, and you know, a bummer sheep is when a mother sheep actually, after they're giving birth to a baby sheep, rejects it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that story to bummer reindeer. And so we're going to give a little story about the bummer reindeer and how a handler will take them in and hold them close. And that reindeer, baby reindeer, is going to really feel the heartbeat of that person or the handler and really get close to that handler, how Jesus has done for us. And so in turn, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get little baby, little stuffed reindeer to the kids and have them take them home and magically share love that's going to go to the North Pole and build up that reindeer's confidence and be able to use that to share Christ as well. And then if people don't want to do a faith-based, I'm going to do that in a secular way as well. So that's going to be our story this year.
Very nice.
So you had mentioned the reindeer to Spangle earlier, kind of wondering where that was headed. Hey, that's great. That is so cool. Okay, so we're at the center part of the show here. Let's take a short breather, let you guys regroup, and we're going to go over here to the new product announcement. We'll be right back.
All right.
It's okay. I'm good.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm good. Oh my goodness.
Hey, I got an idea, Spike. You need to have you one of them little clown cars made to pull your trailer with. That looks cool.
Yeah. Let's see how far I get with that one, huh?
Be an attention getter for sure.
Yeah. Hey, new product announcement. Okay, new product. Hey, I showed this the other day. Very, very beautiful cup and everything. My maker has now come up with this one. They're all 40 ounces. Very beautiful. They got straws that go in there. This one's real cool. Look at that Santa Claus. And I really like this one. Got this cool reindeer here.
That's
Santa. And it says, dance like Frosty, shine like Rudolph, give like Santa, and love like Jesus. Amen. That's what I'm thinking there. You know, Bob, before I even get into the trivia and stuff, you know, I always think that, man, as a Santa, I am on top of my game, you know, and I'm proud of where I'm at in my Santa business. But we keep bringing on these guests and like this, and I keep thinking, man, I got to step it up. Got to step it up.
Make you have to take a second look, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
Anyways,
hang with us. We got to go do the quick commercial. We'll be right back.
all right.
Oh, hello there. Yes, of course, it's me, Santa Claus. Now, you may not believe this, but one of the questions I get asked the most is, well, not how do I do it all in one night? No, but where do I get all my things from? Yes, now, what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the finest things I have. My glorious gloves, all my knickknacks and trinkets and things. Yes, all the giveaways. Yes, for me to give to the children before the main events. Yes, if I see them in the streets, if they come and see me, I like to have something in my pocket I can treat them with. Yes, and there's one special place where I can find all these magical goods. And that is, of course, stuffforsanta.com. You should head there now and see what magical gifts you can find. Mrs. Claus, Have you got my ice pad? Yes. Log me on. I'm going to have a look. I shall see you there. Stuffforsanta.com. Merry Christmas.
Hey, anyways, tonight's trivia, the winner's going to get 2 rolls of the Santa I Met Santa caught me being good coins, or they can get the Mrs. Claus ones. I know they look like it's not very fair deal here. Mrs. Claus is half the size of the Santas, but actually, anytime a Mrs. Claus orders one of these, we send 2. I just do this for the visual thing when Santa walks up with the coins. That way, I know he's got the Santas and not the Mrs. or vice versa. So, anyways. It's just for my visual thing when I'm at the events. Anyways, today, let's see, in which classic book would you find the quote, always winter but never Christmas? And who was the author? This quote refers to the perpetual winter in the land of Narnia under the rule of White, which where Christmas is banned and was never celebrated. Mm-hmm.
Tongue twisters.
It is. Well, you're hurting me today. You make me feel like I live in the Ozarks and can't read. Hey, and any of you guys that want to get these, we got a special 1 week special, $8 if you buy 5 rolls, $8. We're going to cover the shipping. They're normally $15 a roll. Yes, ladies, that is 10 rolls for you.
Yeah, he calls me today. He says, "Are you very good at math?" I said, "Oh, I don't know." He says, "You got a calculator?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Grab it." So for 15 minutes, we're doing mathematical problems on the calculator.
I already had the answers. I just wanted to show him what I was working on.
Hey, it's all right. Visual helps, especially this old brain.
Yeah.
All right, guys, work on that one. And we're going to go ahead and jump back into the second half of the show with our featured guests, Jen and Doug.
Guys, I hope you got as many notes as I do.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Spangle.
All right. So, can you guys reflect on the kind of events that you have done and some of the good or bad takeaways and what you've learned from those experiences?
All right. Well, we've actually had a very busy year. You got to realize that both of us work full-time jobs too. Both of us work probably about 50 hours a week on an average. So it's long hours plus the season, but we still kept busy. Actually, I'm a big proponent of doing Christmas in July. So when she was getting reeled in, we did a couple 4th of July parades. We did a Labor Day parade, and we also did a Christmas parade. So we did 3 parades last year. And I will tell you, that was something else. I am actually part of, I own a very old 1973 Corvette, and I'm part of a Corvette club. So our Corvette club was doing 4th of July parade, and I decided to dress my Corvette up as a reindeer. And we took it down the road. We were at the end of the line, and we did half and half. She drove, I drove the first half, and she walked. And then the second half, I got out And I tell you what, it was like Elvis hitting the street.
Mm.
I had to zigzag because you would walk to one side and the kids were just so excited, and you would look back and the other side, they're like, oh, I'm going to miss Santa. So I'd have to go back, and they were taking pictures and doing high fives, and it was just phenomenal. Then we did.
I think for me, the ones that stuck out the most for me, of course, because I'm a nurse, so I'm all about the caring for people, is we did a couple of different hospital events. One of them, we were in an intermediate care unit, and we were caroling with some of the chaplains that were there at the hospital. And so a nurse was like running down the hallway when we were coming, and I thought, oh no, what's going to happen, you know? And but she was opening the doors for her patients' rooms for those that were really sick, and for them to hear us. So for us to be able to stand outside the patient rooms and sing to them, and then have the families you know, come out into the hallway, you know, and the visitors and even some of the patients just come and give us some love, but for us to be able to love back on them. And then we were able to also minister to some of the adolescents that were there in our behavioral units, you know, so we were able to go in there and love on them. We also did a
special needs school.
You know, they were slated to be there for just an hour, but we didn't want any child to not have that special time with Santa and Mrs. Claus. So, you know, just being there and seeing all those children and really seeing, you know, what we have, what we take for granted, you know, day in and day out, and just to be able to love on them. And we did some charity events as well too, you know, and we somebody actually raffled off our services, you know, and so for the lady that won the raffle, to be able to go into her home and to see her children and her grandchildren and love on them, that was really, really, really neat. We did a boutique store hired us as well, just to come and sit. And he was with this little boy who was about 7 years old. And he was telling, you know, just talking to him, sharing with him. And I could see the grandma got really emotional. And I looked at the grandma, I'm like, are you okay? She's like, I'm fine. But then she like turned her head and her back, you know. So I got up and I approached her, and come to find out she was raising her grandson because his mother had passed away. Mom's name was Celeste. I'll never forget. I'm hoping that we'll get to minister to them again, you know, because I tried to write down names, like if I get their names and their stories. So then that way, if we run into them again, I'll be able to say things like, you know, how is he doing? And I thanked her for sharing the story about how his mom had passed, you know. So just things like that. We did a walk around our square, and we met a couple whose son had died. Our square had these trees that were decorated.
Yeah, where we live at, we were doing a small coffee house had hired us, and you know, we really don't get an opportunity to enjoy Christmas when you're doing Santa, because you're being Santa most of the time. So I said, you know what, when we're done with this, we have a old-fashioned courthouse. In fact, it's where John Dillinger was actually held and broke out of jail. That's our community. And so it's an 1800s type squared building, and they put Christmas trees all around. Businesses do it. I said, you know, let's just walk around the square and just look at the Christmas trees for a minute.
Yeah, and when we approached this one, there was a couple, they were a little older than us, and just started talking to them, and it said in loving memory of, and this young man's name. And I said, oh, is that your son? They said yes, and he had passed. And just that's why I said earlier, you know, like Christmas isn't always fun and games, right, for people. So to be able to love on that mom, and I said, you know what, let us take a picture in front of your tree, you know, to honor your son. So just things like that we've been able to do, and we just love it, absolutely love it.
Yeah, we did quite a few corporate events, a realtor party, thing for State Farm. We did senior living center. I thought our season was over, and then I forgot there's Orthodox Christmas, which is 14 days after Christmas.
Yeah, so they hired us for that, and that place. Boy, let me tell you, when we were pulling in, we couldn't find a place to park. And people could see us in the vehicle and they were getting all excited. So we had to park way out and we couldn't even hardly walk into the venue because people were stopping us to take pictures with us. And when we walked in, it was like a big, beautiful wedding type of reception. And that was the first year that they have done something like that. And it was all about Santa, and handing out gifts. There were 300 children there. It was a madhouse. They've already booked us for this January coming up, and they've already booked us for the next one after that too. So yeah, we've had a lot of different experiences for sure.
Yeah, it was a good year.
I was thinking when you were talking about that nurse running down the hall and opening the doors and everything for everybody, that nurse would have got trouble. If I was singing, what do they call that? Suicide by nurse or something like that? if I would have been singing, those people would have been flatlining. I tell people, I sing in the shower at home. I did until the city turned my water off.
And Doug, you mentioned doing, a parade and walking. Well, that triggered me of sore feet, sore legs, and dehydration and heat stroke almost. July 4th, I done one 2.5 mile parade route, and it was 105. Texas, it's hot in July, and I was doing the same thing, running from one side to the other, back and forth, and trying to keep up with the float that I was supposed to be with. And luckily, there was a train that divides the town that we were in, and a train came through. So half the parade went on, the second half stayed behind because we get split up. It gave me a moment to catch my breath. But golly, man, I tell you that, if you're going to do a parade, guys, at our age, it's better to ride, not walk. But hey, I had a blast. It was fun. You mentioned something else, and everything that y'all talked about was feeding off of, the children, giving them love and their love back. It's amazing what energy you get from folks when you're performing, and the way that you interact with them and the energy it gives you.
Yeah, I did learn a thing with the parade too. I had the inexpensive vinyl boots. Went out and bought some Ride Techs right away. That was the first thing. Oh, I got this too. I'll show you. It's right here.
Yeah, we've had a
props you showed me today. There you go.
Yeah, got my 4th of July Santa outfit for this year. So we're ready.
That is an Adele, you said.
Yeah. Ready hired for.
What about your crystal ball that you showed me? You got it on hand? Might as well show it off too.
Sure do.
Like I said, he's extra. He's an artist though. He has a degree in art.
You know how a lot of people are doing like the potion bottles and stuff like that? And I thought, Santa's magic globe would work pretty cool. So I actually bought a empty globe, and put it in, and it's actually remote control.
Changes colors.
Changes colors. Yep. So
yeah, so
very nice.
So I'm working on it.
So we're going to move along here, and this was one that we defined this afternoon. You guys talked about an unspoken itinerary that you use during a performance. Could you explain what this is?
Oh, sure, absolutely. So you want to talk about that, or I could talk about it. It's basically what we try to do is we try to have an itinerary. We actually got this from Jenny Lynn Claus and Santa Carlucci. They kind of have modules where you pop in, and so it's kind of the same premise. But what we actually do is we have a way that we do a home visit or some of those things where we do a grand entrance, a meet and greet, photo opportunities, chair time, performance time, hand out gifts, and we're out. So we improvise, in between those. But when we're doing an event, we kind of know where we're at in our performance. So a grand entrance, you might actually see some video that we'll show in a little bit, but she typically walks in, and I'm very much about the experience. So I've pre-recorded music depending on the event, and I have recorded 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, or 4 hour, depending on the event. So when the music stops, I know the time's over. We have the same music that starts off when we enter. So there's music that kind of builds up, and she goes in with, actually, a lot of people have seen this. I don't have it charged up right now, but this is actually a Bluetooth lantern that this flickers. It plays music while she's entering, and it kind of builds up, and Santa stands out the door, and I ring some bells, and the kids get all excited and then come flying in. Yeah, so it's
because I go in, I make a big deal. I'm like, oh, who is that? Because a lot of people, they're kind of confused. Like, who's this lady? Why is she dressed like that? You know? But then I'm like, who is that? What do I hear? Oh my goodness. And then, he starts ringing his bells. And then when he walks in, it's just
That's part of the video that we will show here in a moment, and I get such a kick out of that. I had to rewatch it several times because the reaction to the children in this video clip. We'll get to that in a moment. Real quick though, before we move on, I know you got more to talk about here, but Rick Fields asked, "Where did you get your 4th of July bars and stars, whatever you want to call it, your suit?" That was an Adele suit, right?
Yes, correct. Adele suit.
Adele's to Hollywood, Rick.
Yep.
Out in California.
Yeah, we got a couple variations on it.
All right, now go ahead with what y'all were talking about.
So after the grand entrance, we kind of go in and do a meet and greet and meet each other. And of course, I've got on, Spangle's infamous gloves. And of course, everybody's got to get into the spirit. So what I'll typically do is grab a little spirit from Santa, and I start placing them into the children. And they just get real enamored with that. I'm not a big glove wearer, but this is what if I'm doing a parade or something outdoor. But after that, I'll typically take the gloves off. But it's a good way to kind of get the kids excited and to get them involved. And from there, we kind of do family photos. We get those kind of out of the way and get people comfortable. And then, of course, we do the chair time, which we talked about that with the questionnaire and things of that nature. We do our story times. And again, a lot of it's doing improvisation. And then usually what we do is when we're talking with the client before we meet, we find out if they're handing out gifts. And typically what we try to do is we get them to leave the gifts in a car out in the driveway, and I load them up before we go in, or somewhere else they want to hide them. Yeah, I put them in the Santa bag. But that's how we use our exit. So typically we hand out the gifts. We explain to the children that you cannot open them. I usually designate the dad to do a countdown. And the kids are so excited about opening the presents, they're not going to follow Santa out the door to find out where the reindeer are. So we use that as our time to grab our stuff together. Our prop bag is a little bit different. I know a lot of people use a backpack. We use a carpet bag. So we have an old-fashioned carpet bag that we load up, and we grab the robes and clothing and whatever we got, and we're out the door. Yep.
Yeah.
Run to the next one.
Yeah.
I like
very good, very good.
Yeah.
All right, so we have the video. It's 3 separate clips that we put together under one montage. The first part of it will be your 2023 year in review. That was the video that we talked about. The next is the home visit, where the children are so excited, and in the North Pole phone call that you spoke of earlier. So at this point, let's go ahead and run that video.
Bob, where's the popcorn?
You're supposed to bring it. Didn't you get the email?
No.
What do I have to do everything?
I'm here for my looks.
Yeah, there you go.
on Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer, on Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner, on Blitzen. Up against the porch, up against the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all.
Feeling that gingerbread feeling, precious moments, special people, happy faces, I can see somewhere in my memory. Christmas toys all around me, living in my memory. All of the music, all of the magic, all of the family home
What's that?
That's it!
Who's that, guys?
Santa!
Who's that?
It's Santa!
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Hey! How are you? Merry Christmas! Hey! Hello! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! We gonna have some fun today? Yeah!
Switchboard, this is Peggy speaking.
Yes, Peggy, it's Santa. Can you connect me to Neville over in the Naughty or Nice department, please?
No. Right away, Santa. Oh, you're right.
Oh, it's ringing an awful lot, Santa.
Naughty or nice department, Neville speaking. Can I help you?
Yes, Neville, it's Santa.
Oh, hi, Santa. What do you need?
I need you to look up a name for me on the Naughty or Nice list.
Sure, what is it?
It's Violet.
Hold on while I check.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I'm getting nervous.
He put you on hold.
No, hold music.
That's not good.
He's looking real deep in it. Nice though. He's checking it twice too.
Boss, that one's on the edge. It could go either way, naughty or nice.
Oh no.
Do between now and Christmas.
Okay, thank you, Neville.
Oh, Violet.
Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, that's all. Merry Christmas, Neville.
Well, Merry Christmas to you too, Santa.
Oh, boy.
Oh no.
Great job, guys. Great job for sure.
Yeah, it's so fun.
So how do you do the phone? Is it an app or what is it? You want to explain, go into detail on that?
On the phone call?
Yes.
Yeah, there's several different ones that you can choose from. One automatically says if you're nice. One is for the one that I just played is you're unsure. So I've been using that with older children. and it kind of just makes it a little fun. And then I actually have an app that I get on my phone, where you can, again, that big technology, but this app that I found, when you put your finger on it, it scans your finger, and then it will give you a reading, and you can set it for naughty and nice. So I usually set it for nice at that. So the phone call makes it hard. I'm like, you know what? Let's try this finger scanner. And then it's just something that we make fun for, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually have those. If anybody's looking for those, I actually also have those on our website. So you can download the audios, and there's like a script.
Yeah, and we've
Very
been
nice.
trying to figure out like cameos,
Mhm.
you know, because we have done personalized messages for people that we know, which is always fun. You know, we'll like record a video or something like that and send it to the mom or the grandma or whoever, and then they play it for their child. So, and then we get to hear the reaction. So that's always fun.
Very cool. Well, guys, let's go to our viewers to see if they have any questions or comments.
Sure.
Angela has a few started here. Let me go ahead and grab them real quick while if anyone else has anything to add, go ahead and put it in the comment box. Joseph Cunningham says, great story, guys. Valpo Santacy is so proud of both of you. PTO.
Yeah. Love them.
And AJ says, Doug is your best, from Angie Good Letterman.
It sure is.
There you go, AJ.
AJ's on top of this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's got one ordered. So he knew all about it. Ken Kringle, Doug, we actually spent more than we make. It's talking about not making very much. And AJ again said, I would like that script, please. Talking about evidently the phone call script.
Yeah.
Ken Craig comes back to say the video was a ton of fun. It's great to see others in action since we obviously can't do that in person. Thanks for sharing this.
Mm.
And that's all I see. Is there any more, Angie?
AJ just said he has the vest and shirt from hers.
Okay, AJ says he already has a vest and shirt. Super quality stuff. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you got any other questions, go ahead and throw them in. In the meantime, I'm going to jump over here and we're going to go ahead and reveal tonight's trivia answers. We do have winners for both.
Yes.
Fantastic. SchoolofSantas.com. In the month of March, two very different events are noticed in history. In 1918, we saw the outbreak known as either the influenza pandemic. There was a ton of different names. It was called Spanish flu, bird flu, purple death, SARS. We were accepting any of those if you had one of those. We saw the outbreak known as we said, on March 19th of that same year, the U.S. Congress established time zones. And on approved daylight saving times at the same time. So those were the answers I was looking for. In 1918, anything of those that I mentioned as far as what the flu was called, time zones, daylight savings time, winner?
Jeff Willett.
Jeff Willett gets that one. Fantastic, Jeff. Your name goes in the hat for the drawing for School of Santas, which would be held about 6 weeks prior to arrival there in Branson. So we'll get you a name in the hat on that one.
Hey,
All right,
was
now
it
over to
1918 they took a little trip, or was that 1819?
really.
Remember that old song? Took a little trip.
Yeah. Yeah, that pandemic, which we went through one just recently, was basically the same type of flu, attacked the lungs mainly, which the one that we just experienced did the same thing. My great grandfather succumbed to the Spanish flu in early 1919 after catching it, and he was only 27 years old at the time. So. All right, stuffforsanta.com. In which classic book would you find the quote, always winter but never Christmas? And who wrote, was the author on that? That is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. Winner?
It's going to be Judy.
Judy Broderick.
Yes.
Judy got that one. Fantastic, Judy.
Tanya had it, but she's still in timeout. So.
Oh, Tanya had it, but she's still in timeout. Remember, guys, if you win on the Stuff for Santa, also on Monday, if you win on a Monday show, you go into a 30-day holding pattern where you can't actually be eligible to win a gift. That gives everyone a chance. Okay, Judy, Spangle, you got her address, I'm sure.
Oh, somewhere. She'll be calling me in the morning.
Yeah,
I'll be calling her.
All right, let's go ahead and start closing out the show here. We've run about an hour, 12, 15 minutes already. So you got any closing thoughts, Spangle?
Man, I just want you to know that I thought tonight was a great show. I want everybody to know that these two are my Facebook friends.
Well, I gotta let you tell the story because everybody's going to be wondering, and Spangle's going to get a million text messages. What was that all about? So tell them the story.
Yeah, but
go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Tell him, Spangle.
You go ahead.
I said I had to ask him because I'm like kept sending him friend requests, and I'm like, man, they got me on the show, but he won't accept my friend request. So I asked them.
They were in the request with probably some of you others, over 1,000 requests, and I really need to go through there. It's just hard now, but there's so many hackers, and your friends have got a second account that someone set up that ain't them, that looks like them, or you're friends with them and they created a new Facebook, and like, I don't even know if that's them. And it's just really, really hard now. And almost anymore as I'm talking to them, then I'm like, okay, let's get this taken care of.
Yeah.
It's no offense against anybody. It's just, I'm really scared about bringing in those hackers or things like that.
Absolutely. And
They're so
we were
smart.
talking back in the green room prior to coming on the air about that. And Facebook has implemented a deal now where if you have X amount of, actually, I guess it's over 1,000 friend requests that they're going to start deleting the oldest ones. And that was kind of something that led us into what we were talking about. But I know I've got over 1,500 last time I looked. And so if they're going to start deleting some of them, I'm sure it'll be the oldest of the oldest. But I'm just like you, Spangle. I don't trust, it's hard to decipher between what's real and what's not.
Yeah, so social media and hackers nowadays, they just come in there and they want to get at your friends. They want to take their money. They want to do everything. And, I'm doing it to protect you guys.
That's right.
They ain't going to get my money. There ain't nothing there. I always said if people ever got hacked into my checking account or anything like this, they're going to feel sorry and leave a donation.
All right. I want to thank you guys. Jan, Doug, fantastic show. We knew it was going to be. We've been excited for weeks on end. When you guys sent in your stuff, I said, boy, they were ready. They had it, all together. It couldn't win any better than it did. Thank you so much. You've inspired many tonight, and just sharing your journey, and as the one person said, being able to see you perform, something that a lot of guys can't do. They don't see those performances. So sharing that was invaluable.
Well, we're so thankful for you having us on, and really, this show is just a great way to build up our Santa and Mrs. Claus. And I encourage everybody who's watching the show, if you haven't subscribed, get on there and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Click the button. Let's build up the subscriptions on this and keep this going.
Yeah. YouTube. We were looking this week about what all was involved in getting to that next step for us. And we're close in a couple of areas, but we're far away in others. Subscriptions is one of those. 300 subscriptions, we need around 1,000. So as you said, it's free. It's free all week. It's free forever. Just reach over and click. If you don't want to sign up for the notifications, you don't have to. If you do want to be notified every time we upload or download a new show on YouTube, it'll give you a notification just like you get on Facebook that says, hey, there's a new video that's just been posted, but that's not a requirement. You can do it without doing that. So anyway, thank you guys again. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
I was just going to say, with Jen and Doug being new Santas and Mrs. Claus, we're still writing down notes, people. I mean, we're just blessed to have newcomers, old comers, and everything. But
anyway, in the beginning of the show, it was going to be that kind of night. Get your pencil and paper ready.
Yeah. Anyways, join us next week for our next Tuesday Night Live episode, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Come on, guys, don't be square, even though you might watch us on a Square TV. Also, can't forget to catch next Monday's show with Bob and Randall on Monday at 3 p.m. Central. You guys got to keep watching those guys because somebody's got to chaperone them. They definitely need the help. And, subscribe to their channel too.
And and Randy brought up a great point yesterday about Doug and Jen's promotion with the old Christmas tree, the old timey Square TV. That was really cool. That was such a throwback. We loved it. All right. Do you want to run that clip that we forgot to run in the beginning for Fancy Lee?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, let's run that real quick because we always mention Fancy Lee, but we skipped over the video tonight. So let's run it real quick while we're here. All right, and we did have another question come in late here, guys. Judy Broderick wants to know, where did you find the music? It was beautiful in your video.
Oh, yeah, I just look for it all over the internet, There's a lot of copyright material that you have to watch. So there's a lot of free material. You can get soft Christmas music. And we keep that Bluetooth speaker going very softly after that grand entry, and it just adds to the whole ambiance of the
ambiance, yeah.
Except tonight when it's not charged to show everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, things happen, right? Speaking of copyright material, we got to be careful on YouTube too about what we post, because you get flagged a couple of different times and it starts going against your channel. So Angela told me when it was playing, "Oh, I hope it's not copywritten because we're going to get in trouble." And I said, "Well, surely not. Doug's smarter than that." So very good, very good. All right, so a big thank you to schoolofsantas.com, stufforsanta.com, holidayphotomagic.com, thermapparel.com, fancylee.com, northpolecornerstones.com. And Jessica will have her clip next week. She went with Spangle, well, not with Spangle, but they were down here in Texas this last weekend for the Lone Star Santa
Round Rock.
So she said she would submit that for next week's show. All right, yet as another show comes to an end, we want to wish everybody happy closing, right? Tell everyone good night, Spangle.
Good night, Spangle.
Yay.
Jen, Doug, good night. And thank you guys. Stick around. We'll talk a moment in the green room after the show goes off, so don't go anywhere. Remember to join us for our next Tuesday Night Live each week, 7 p.m., 7 Central, that is. We got, daylight time now, so everybody changed their clocks, I'm sure. Same class time, same class channel. Count your blessings, not your sorrows. May your troubles be small and your blessings be large. I want to make sure I get that right tonight. Have a blessed week. Until next time, for the whole TNL crew, I'm Santa Bob McMasters saying good night. Remember, always let your claws heart shine bright. Never stop learning. Hope to see you back here next Tuesday night. And come join us on Monday. We always have a blast. Good night, all.
Good night.